Hello, guys and gals. Me, Mutahar, and ladies and gentlemen, I got to talk a little bit about a bit of controversy here. Now, I don't know if you know about this small little indie game called Arc Raiders, but I've been playing it a little bit, and to give you an idea, it's not something that I can commit to 100% yet. I can't say that it's like my game of the year at the moment. I can't say that it's the best game ever made. Haven't put that many hours into it, but I actually like what I've been playing. All right. So for me, I like playing games with the boys. And my experience playing this game with the boys has been absolutely amazing. Now, for anybody that doesn't know what Arc Raiders is, it's the new extraction shooter on the market. And the fact that I'm enjoying it is a little bit of a shocking thing because I actually don't like extraction shooters. Like, there's nothing that gets me bricked up remotely thinking about Tarky time where, like, yeah, I want to just jump into a game world, bring some loot, try looking for more loot and locations, maybe fight some AI, and then get dinked in the head by some fucking hacker on the other side of the world. Yeah, that always, anytime I hear about that, it just sounds like such an infuriating mess. And the times that I've played Tarkov, like, yeah, it's been fun, but it's also been incredibly infuriating. It feels like I'm usually shuffling around for like 30 minutes before, again, I come across an actual encounter. Like, if I want to get mad at a game, if I want to get pissed off, I'll play a game of Rainbow Six Siege and then immediately remember why I don't play much multiplayer shit these days, other than like some Battlefield and now Arc Raiders. Now, Arc Raiders has been absolutely fun for me because it's more of like a friendly game. Like, I've actually met more friends in the world than I've actually met more enemies. The graphics are actually quite sublime. The actual looting mechanics are simplified and streamlined enough. So for somebody like me that just wants to go in for like a quick 20-minute raid, even by myself, it's not a bad experience. It's actually quite enjoyable. But the thing about it is at the end of the day, it is just another multiplayer game. And I haven't put enough hours into it to think if it's going to be something that's going to make me put in thousands of hours just yet, okay? But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, no game is safe from controversy this year, it seems. Now, I don't know about you, but this is Eurogamer, and, video game journalism and video game reviews are kind of like this mixed bag. People love jerking off these companies whenever they give, like, their favorite game, like, a 5-star, but when they give a 2-star review to a game that's unanimously loved by so many people right now, yeah, it's controversial. So why is this review a little gross, right? Gross in the machine, according to the actual tagline here. So they say it's a smart shooter marred by one inexcusable decision. Now, overall, the actual review is, I would say, pretty positive. Like, they do kind of talk about how the community is overall like an actual positive group of people, as opposed to just a group of Tarky dickbags. But the actual questionable thing over here is, and I want you to get ready for this, okay? It's gonna rustle your jimmies a little bit. It's gonna might pucker your asshole. Yeah, it's got AI. Ooh, AI. So I didn't know it, but they also made the finals. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, Arc Raiders for me, if you made me review this, I'd say 5 out of 5. Game runs underneath Linux. The anti-cheat works, so I'm already like excited. For me, I don't like to come across the controversy for this kind of stuff because ultimately it's like, I'm enjoying a game. It supports Linux. Please, God, don't make a glaring mistake. Now, the glaring mistake over here was the fact that they used AI. The design is overshadowed by the specter of artificial intelligence. So apparently, Arc Raiders uses the actual machine learning algorithms for its animations. And then, of course, text-to-speech based performances generated from the voices of real actors. So again, what they talk about over here most specifically is that the voice lines are aggressively mediocre and a stain on the experience. While speaking characters are mostly limited to traders, though player characters also vocalize emotes and pings during matches. So when you ping like a tower and it's like, tower spotted, that's probably like AI, right? When you do speak with them, their voices are flat and emotionally blunted. Now, this is actually a pretty true statement. Now, I do not care about the storyline for this game. Every time the story comes up, it's like porn story for me. Like, you just press the escape button and like just skip through. Like, just get me to the actual reason I'm here, which is the gameplay. But they are actually not wrong here. The voice acting in this game is very stunted. It really does feel like, when you watch like a Sora clip on the internet, like a clip of video, like an AI video generated automated thing and it has like audio attached, it sounds like that. It's very easy to pick up, okay? It's the AI inflections. Basically, there are no inflections, all right? Because the AI doesn't understand it. It's just regurgitating a line. Like this is what the voice acting sounds like. Hey guys, I just spotted that arc in the distance. Whoa, it's crazy. That arc in the distance is coming closer. Hey guys, we better get out of here and extract soon. And that's pretty much the quality of the voice acting, okay? That's all it is. You know, you got to give some people some gamer subs over here, maybe snort a line or something, code SOG, by the way, and then, get excited, get a little perked up. I mean, you're in a world where fucking robots are flying around and hunting humans down. Tell you what, I'd be shitting bricks before I dropped into the actual action. But yeah, that's one of the most harmful, un-Islamic things that I've ever seen in this situation. So the thing about it is apparently the reason why they use the AI voices is that they can implement ideas quicker. They can create new voice lines in just hours, rather than having to go through the longer process of getting the voice actors in and manually recording. Now, from what I understood, the actual voice actors were contracted, so they actually did hire human beings, and I believe the contract included that they were going to have some AI voice-generated stuff in. So a lot of people say that, yeah, there's like consent given by the voice actors, but to be real with you, I kind of, unless I see the contract and the reasons why it was signed, I'm not just going to say that it was completely, like 2 thumbs up, hell yeah, we agree with it. Because I'm pretty sure, like, if you get hired for a job and you get paid for it later, like, yeah, you want me to, like, voice 200 lines so you can use an AI to regurgitate, like, 10,000 shitty lines down the road, then maybe it's not so much that you're hiring me or you're just cheaping out, or you're using me very briefly so that you don't have to pay anyone down the road. Now, unless in their contract they say that they're getting paid out, obviously per line every time this AI is used, maybe it's good. Ultimately, the actual voice actors haven't really come out and bitched about this. So I can imagine that, maybe there's, again, something legal preventing them, or they probably don't really have an issue with this if they really truly did consent to this project. But the thing is, I kind of do agree with the review that it just sort of like cheapens the quality of the game too. Like, there's no reason you should have AI voice slop lines in a video game that isn't, this is not like, it's kind of like putting AI slop voice lines in something like Rainbow Six Siege, which, doesn't really have a lot of voice acting to begin with. Like, this is a multiplayer game. The most you have is like call outs and a few flavor like dialogue lines. This isn't like a 50-hour like RPG or something, or like Grand Theft Auto 5 where you have to like implement so many background voice lines. They really could have just banged a lot of these voice sessions out. It really does feel like the company wants to kind of, cheapen aspects of video game development that they don't find necessarily important. But the thing is, the game is already making gangbusters amount of cash. I don't understand why, making sure that a human element is there, especially when the AI element is so, evident, the more you listen to it. They could have just gotten humans to constantly voice this stuff without using AI synthesis models, right? Like, especially for a multiplayer game. There's really no reason to cheapen this out and attract so much controversy for no reason. Now, to be fair, the game is also not full priced. It's like $40. So again, I expect that there's going to be some aspect of cost cutting here and there. Doesn't necessarily make it something that I'm totally 100% down with. I think generative AI can be cool, but it does have there's a lot of nuance to the story, but we'll touch upon that when I show you the other big AI part. So according to the guys over at Embark, this is like an example of how they use AI to make the animations for the game. So arguably what's more interesting than the voice acting is the fucking robots walking around, right, in the universe. So this is an example of their AI agent learning to walk in the terrains that they make, right? So this is actually an AI that's sort of like bumbling around, figuring out how to walk. In a way, it's almost cute to see it because it's almost like a fucking digital baby figuring out how to wobble around this world that they've created. So you can see that it's fucking up its movement over there, but it corrects itself, it makes mistakes. But the more that it acts in this environment, the more that it learns, the better it becomes. Now, again, I'm thinking they're doing this to make the AI more realistic, to make it so that, the actual hunts from the robots are more impressive, which, To be fair, they actually are. The AI in this game, when it comes to the arch enemies, which are the robots, are quite impressive, okay? They will track you and follow you and fight you in ways that you probably won't see constantly game to game. Now, the animation work here is actually not like generative AI. It's more similar to something like, again, machine learning, something that you might have noticed back in 2015 if you follow a YouTuber known as Seth Bling. He was playing around with machine learning and he actually put together this machine learning network for Mario, where again, Mario could be played by an AI that would constantly fail until it eventually learns, improves its patterns after every generation, after every learning, after every point, where it eventually beats. So for instance, in this one instance, it like took 34 generations of this AI to start finishing this level. And again, every time it would fail, it would try different things. It would learn how to handle it would learn how to play differently in order to achieve the goal. And that's something that's similar to the animation system that it seems Arc Raiders is using. So that part isn't completely generative AI. This is what it actually really is. Something that's been done for years now that has nothing to do even so much with like the current state of the LLM AI stuff that people are kind of riled up about. Now, the thing about this is, ladies and gentlemen, when I see things like that, it does remind me of technologies like Euphoria from back in the day. So for anybody that doesn't know, back in the day, Rockstar, when they were making GTA 4, used something called the Euphoria physics engine. Now, again, this is not a physics engine that is AI or like machine learning even. It's literally just designed to add extra oomph to those ragdoll physics. So in this video they showed, this is like from 12 years ago. You can see that Euphoria is like waving its hand to you. It's like a very human system. Ragdolls are the same ragdolls you would see in like Half-Life. You know, you bonk them in the head, dead, goes lifeless. But here with Euphoria, they've literally crafted like an entire human onto it. So when anytime they have like these behavioral patterns and then like the actual like models see that other things are happening in the environments, like for instance, this like character dropping near him, they get freaked out. They really do. And this is nowhere more apparent than in Grand Theft Auto 4, where I think it was used in the strongest fashion ever. If you play GTA 4, its physics engine is still, in my opinion, substantially better than like Red Dead 1, GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, obviously, this is a use of generative artificial intelligence, and there's going to be a lot of people that don't like this shit. They don't like it because they feel that, obviously, for instance, artists are going to lose their jobs going in the future, right? Like, when it comes to voice lines, especially for voice lines in a PvP game like Arc Raiders, where the story isn't the most important thing in the world, like, yeah, the voice acting in this game sucks, but it's also not like Metal Gear Solid 4, or like, it's also not like a David Cage game where, like, the acting is the most integral part of it. But it is something that I think for people who are on the very anti-AI side are probably still not going to be okay with, and they probably shouldn't be okay with it. And that's one of the reasons why I think the story doesn't hit as hard, because ultimately it is a very inconsequential part of the game that uses these features. You know, it's not like the core game's functionality has been dropped, right? It's still a pretty good extraction shooter. But unfortunately, this is a cheapened part of the actual experience that, you know, people, I think, you know, who have an issue with AI creeping into video games are rightfully pissed off with. And like I said earlier, you know, this is not a game where voice acting should even be a considerable part, right, of the game. You know, it's something that you could have just gone to human actors and you could have banged 100% of the content with the human actors. You don't really need to have their work done ahead of time. And so then you can make a generative model of it and then use it later on. Again, I almost feel like that's predatory to the voice actor, because ultimately the voice actor will probably be paid to do like 200 lines, and then you can do however many thousands of lines you want out of this generative AI solution that you have. Because if companies do this now, then you can rest assured that companies like Rockstar Games, whenever they're releasing GTA 7 or GTA 6 or Red Dead Redemption 3, probably might play around a little bit with this kind of stuff if they want to generate a voice line for like a tertiary character, like just some random NPC walking by your character, as opposed to obviously a main or side character that they're actually like working on with a human. The genie is out of the bottle, okay? To give you guys a quick understanding of the situation, right, I'm going to show you a local model that I have. So this is Open Web UI. Now, with OpenWeb UI, you can actually load up a local artificial intelligence system. So, for instance, here I've got GPT OSS, I've got Quencoder, and I've got like a vision model right over here. Now, throughout this tool, I can actually combine this with other things like Comfy UI and have this generate images, even connect it to a search engine that I run locally and have it do web searches on the internet. So this local 20 billion parameter version of GPT open source, which is not even the 120 billion parameters, is able to do pretty much most of my things that I actually am interested in regarding AI completely locally. So for instance, if I wanted to actually, have this explain like, or I don't know, show me a code snippet, for instance, it'll actually fire up the model through Ollama and build this for me right here. And I think for a lot of people who are interested by this kind of stuff, it's not just the standard like fact you can ask. It's not even just the standard search you can make GPT do. A lot of people are using this stuff for coding now. And, if you're going to be complaining about like ARC Raiders, I just want to let you know that companies like Microsoft, companies like Google, every big company is sort of using this stuff in some capacity to like build software. In fact, if anything, it's become sort of like the de facto norm. Now, for me, obviously, I wonder about the environmental shit regarding artificial intelligence and the usage for it. But when it comes to the actual system, every country is working on this kind of stuff. And the reason I showed you these open source models is no matter what, the genie is out of the bottle. Anybody can download these models, run them on a consumer grade GPU, and have local AI, agentic AI, image generation, video generation, coding tools, locally on their device, privacy-focused everything with a simple download. And it's not just American systems. You can download Chinese artificial intelligence like DeepSeek and get some pretty good goddamn tools in the process. And when it comes to a lot of these local AI tools, it's actually only getting better. It's getting more efficient. Like, it's to a point where I can run some of these models, if not all of them, on a fucking laptop now. So if you think that this, train is stopping anytime soon, it's probably not. And the thing about it is that like there's no incentive for any government agency or groups to like go and like legally stop this from being as pervasive as it is. But the thing about it is, obviously, listen, if you're going to boycott ARC Raiders because of its use of generative AI, I think, and this is just, again, the nuance over here, the way that they've done it seems to be more ethical than other companies. But ultimately, the end, it's where the industry is going. It's not just the gaming industry, it's the music industry, it's the video industry, it's just literally even the influencer space now. Now, I think for the artists that are watching this, specifically for voiceover artists, right? Like, I'm sure that a lot of you guys are probably looking at the individuals that did their work for this as like scabs. And generally, I think it's like, if you're a voice actor, and again, I'm not here to like point fingers. I think a lot of people will take a job because ultimately they need to make money to make ends meet. I think for any employee, right, any person that's contracted, I don't think it's fair in your side that you do voice work and then you get turned into a model that basically gets free lines pumped out. And even if you are getting paid to do these lines, like at the end of the day, the AI is never really going to be as good as a real human voice actor. And ultimately, I think it's down the road intended to be a way for these guys to do a chunk of the artistic work for, fractions of the cost, right? Again, this is a multiplayer game. It's not difficult to have a human being come in and do voiceover work for a video game that really doesn't need a lot of voiceover work to begin with. But the other thing that really kind of hits me about this too is if you are a voice actor that is getting models made of you that can be used for these companies, I just wonder how fair it is for you down the road going into the future, right? It's a hazy market to get into. I think for companies that are in the indie space, companies or people that are just solo developers, I think AI is a cool tool to play around with, especially if it helps you learn how to code things, especially if it helps you learn how to put projects together. But it just feels kind of murky when you have these big professional projects that, easily could pay for the human element, but still choose not to. Again, this is a $40 game, but it still does rub people the wrong way when they see this kind of stuff. And when I saw that review, the 2 out of 5 stars, I think for companies or people that genuinely have a real moral issue with this, I can see why you review something 2 to 5 stars. Because, yeah, it is something that does genuinely cheapen an otherwise incredibly fun shooter, an incredibly fun game at the end of the day. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, huge controversy in the Arc Raider space. It uses, again, generative artificial intelligence. Now, again, if the voice lines or if this is too much of a road for you, then as always, you should just vote with your wallet and not play the video game, right? Clearly, if it's a big pressing issue, you shouldn't go into it. I actually didn't know this was a thing until I even bought the game, right? Like I didn't, and again, I wasn't following so much about the actual development phase for this. I kind of just bought this because a couple of my friends were playing extraction shooters, so I figured, oh, I'll spend 40 bucks tonight, and I actually had a really good time with it. I didn't even know about any of this generative AI stuff until I actually saw the controversy surrounding it, which kind of showed how important or how, I guess, for lack of a better term, how vocal this issue really was starting off the bat, especially when it came to, again, just the gameplay itself. The gameplay for the game is actually quite good, but you can see definitely where they cut corners. And now that you know it's artificial intelligence, you can't stop hearing it. And it also did sound wonky to me when I played too, but I just figured that they probably didn't put too much effort into the voice acting to begin with, considering it was a more multiplayer focused game as opposed to like a story focused experience. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's the Arc Raiders controversy. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.